Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Torpen, How the Heck Do I Play This Game? Today we're going to be talking about military. So we're going to get into the exciting stuff right away, which of course is the math. So having a decent understanding of how the math works in this game will help you gauge military engagements. So our first example here is going to be a Dark Age Scout Cav versus a Villager with Loom. And the crucial formula you need to remember is attack minus armor equals damage. So Scout Cav does 3 attack here. Villager has 1 armor with Loom, melee. So the first one's always going to be melee. Second one is always going to be pierce. So that you have Scout Cavalry has 0 melee, 2 pierce. Villager with Loom has 1 melee, 2 pierce. This symbol means melee. So pierce isn't going to come into effect here, but we'll get there. So Scout hits the Villager, 3 melee attack, minus 1 melee armor, deals 2 damage per hit. It takes 20 hits to kill a Villager. So we could figure out based on the reload time, this is the attack reload time here, how long in game it would take to kill a Villager in this 1v1 scenario. Likewise, Villager hitting the Scout, because the Scout has 0 melee armor and they have the same attack, actually does 3 damage per hit, kills the Scout in 15 hits. So in this case, the Villager with Loom wins versus the Dark Age Scout. Obviously, when you add more Scouts or more Vills, it gets a lot more complicated, but you can figure out who will win in a 1v1 just by looking at the reload times, the armor, and all that fun stuff. All right, so we'll get a little bit more complicated here. If you look at if you hover over the tooltips, you'll get this information here in game. I think if you hover over the attack, you'll get this. If you hover over armor, you'll get this. So the game will tell you what type of attack and armor each unit has. So the game uses armor and attack classes. The 2 basic ones are melee and pierce that pretty much all units have, either melee or pierce, if they're military units. And then there's bonus classes. So you'll notice that the archer has this archer's armor with a value of 0. The skirmisher also has the archer's armor with a value of 0. Also gets this skirmisher's armor with a value of 0. So if we take the example here, archer hitting the skirm, the archer has 4 pierce attack. The skirmisher has 3 pierce armor. So it's doing 1 damage per hit. That's it. We sum it all up. None of the other ones apply because the archer attack bonus is against spearmen, and the skirmisher does not have that armor class. So this does not apply. Just the pierce hits this pierce defense, and you get 1 damage per hit on an upgraded archer versus a skirm. Takes 30 hits, which is quite a lot. So the skirmisher, you can tell, will do fairly well against the archer because it'll take quite a while to kill it. If we get fletching will add 1 to the pierce attack of the archer. So we have 5 pierce attack now, 4 plus 1. Same 3 pierce armor, so now we're doing 2 damage per hit. Kills the skirm in 15 hits. So this upgrade essentially doubles your combat effectiveness against skirmishers with the armor. So plus 1 attack can be quite a lot in terms of combat effectiveness depending on the armor of what you're attacking is the takeaway here. So plus 1 doesn't sound like a lot, but a lot of times it's quite a lot. So in this case, plus 1 is plus 100% combat effectiveness, which is enormous. All right, so now if the skirmisher has the first armor and the archer does not have fletching, right, we're back to 4 pierce attack, and it's hitting something with 4 pierce armor because this first armor, padded archer armor, will give you plus 1 to melee and pierce. So 4 pierce attack minus 4 pierce armor is 0 damage per hit, but because the game doesn't allow that, total damage per hit when you sum all the armor classes up must be at least 1. So you're still doing 1 damage per hit. So in this scenario, the archer armor does not change the matchup. You still have just 1 damage per hit versus archers. But in the next scenario here, with I forgot to put the plus 1 over here. Oh well. Archer with fletching hitting the skirm with the first armor. So now the archer has 5 pierce attack, the skirm has 4 pierce armor, so we're back to 1 damage per hit anyway. Upgrades are an arms race is the takeaway here. So to keep up with the enemy's upgrades, you got to get your own upgrades. Even though obviously in this scenario it doesn't actually change the combat effectiveness to have fletching once that first armor is in. But if the skirm doesn't have that first armor, fletching is huge for archers versus skirms. But in any case, archers not so great against skirms. We'll get into that in a bit here. All right, skirmisher hitting an archer, right? Skirmisher only has 2 pierce attack, but it does have this bonus damage against archers, right? So it gets +3 versus archers. We say +3 because usually it ends up being a true +3, but we'll see that in a sec. 2 pierce attack, -0 pierce armor, so 2 damage per hit for the pierce. Right, 2, 0. And then it gets this 3 attack versus the archer armor. Because the skirm has archer attack and the archer has archer armor, this will matter. So the archer attack is 3, archer armor is 0. So you get an additional 3 damage per hit here. So you sum it all up and you get 5 damage per hit. So the skirmisher kills the archer in 6 hits compared to, 30 hits for the archer versus the skirm. So this is a one-sided matchup for sure. And we can see the effect of armor for the archer here. You get +1 pierce, +1 melee, but this archer armor cannot be changed with upgrades, right? So the skirmisher gets 2 pierce attack. Now we're hitting 1 pierce armor, so only 1 damage per hit gets through from this pierce attack. But because the skirm has 3 versus archers and that armor did not change, you still get that full 3 damage per hit. So you get a total of 4 damage per hit. So you're only doing -1 per hit with this archer armor, and it's 8 hits instead of 6, still very good. So the takeaway here is that most bonus damage class, like anything that's not melee and pierce, the armor values are usually 0, so you can't block it. This is essentially unblockable attack against a certain class of armor. So bonus damage is a way that the game uses to generate a counter system. So the counter system for the 3 trash units, scout, let's see, skirms also get a little bonus against spearmen. Actually, it's a pretty substantial bonus. So skirm counter spear, spear counter scout. Spear gets +15 versus cav. And scout counters skirm not because of the bonus damage, but because skirm has 0 inherent melee armor. This is a melee unit that's fast, and the skirm also has a minimum range, which you can see here. This is maximum range, and then if you see a slash, this is the minimum range. So skirmisher has a minimum range, so if you run up to it with a scout and bash him, he can't actually fight back. So this is the quote-unquote rocks, paper, scissors triangle for trash units. Obviously, there's not just these 3 units available in Feudal. There's quite a few. So the counter system looks kind of like this. Skirmishers counter archers, as we've explained. Archers also counter spearmen. Spears counter scouts. Yep, men-at-arms are very good against spears. Archers are good against men-at-arms. Men-at-arms are good against skirmishers. Scouts are good against skirmishers. And that's the counter system for the basic feudal units. A little bit much to remember, but it's not too much. It's not too counterintuitive, is what I want to say. The one thing to remember is that all counters in the game are conditional on numbers, micro, upgrades, and bonuses. For example, Sicilians, right? They get less bonus damage on their cav units, so the scout spear interaction's a little different. There's various other examples of that. Khitans, for example, the infantry units get a bonus versus archers, so that is a little bit more complicated as well. Plus numbers, if you have 1 billion skirms versus 1 scout, obviously the scout's not going to do so well. So keep that in mind. All right, we're going to work some military into our sort of fast feudal build order that we've been slowly working on here. So we're going to try this out. We're not going to go deep into the rest of the feudal military for this one. We'll do that in another one. So our goals for today is just going to be a 20 vil fast feudal. We're going to get bit and horse collar immediately. Get a stable down, make 3 scouts. And that's it. We just want to get these scouts on the field as soon as possible. We'll practice with the scouts later. But just getting those scouts on the field is going to be the first step here. Perfect score is going to be 12 minutes. That includes all the Vils, feudal, and then the production time for the 3 scouts plus building the stable. And we'll call it not quite a scout rush, but we'll take our sweet time. Some tips for this. The stable needs to come up immediately as soon as feudal hits, so we definitely want wood for that. So you get the barracks up, maybe halfway up, we'll start to build the barracks. And then this is key from last time, I think. Remember to shift to wood as soon as you click to feudal, because you will need tons of wood for all this stuff. Constant scout production does take 8 on food. Villagers take 6. So usually you're not able to do constant scouts for long, which is why we're only building 3. And 4 scouts is plenty to go start harassing the enemy a little bit. Maybe we will get into harassing the enemy a little bit with scouts. Why not? So you're not going to be able to build scouts forever with this, but you will have enough food usually to get some scouts out. So let's give it a go. As usual, I will attempt to not embarrass myself. We're going to use our trusty Byzantines here because they are very generic. We'll get into civs very soon, actually. All right, so as usual, we build our houses. We get the scout moving. We put scout on number 1. You'll notice I changed my zoom settings a little bit, so we're a little zoomed out, which I like. Find the sheeps. A couple boars out there too, as well. Set my rally point. There's a boar there. All right, for scouts, you usually don't need as much wood in feudal. So if you want, you can usually go 2 on wood, but the mill timing gets a little bit tight. So I'm going to continue using our... Come on, guys. Forgot to shift click there. I'm going to use our sort of standard 3 on wood build order that we've been slowly working towards. All right, we'll get some wood going. I'm going to go 3 to wood. If I get 2 groups of sheep, is that all my sheep? It might be. All right, 1 more to wood. There we go. Now we can take Mr. Boar. Kind of don't want to kill another sheep, so hopefully the timing works out. There we go, should be good. Keep them from killing 1 more sheep. Great, perfect. All right. Now we desperately need a house, so I'm going to panic up a house. As we go for the mill, and we're going to watch the boar here. When the boar gets about halfway, we're going to go for boar number 2. Force drop for some food, keep the TC running. All right, let's go for that boar. I'm going to actually send you. little late on the boar. Obviously, having the Vil standing around doing nothing for a second there, not great. But we will survive. Alright, I do need another house. 16, 17, okay, that's our 20 Vils. See, because I put the boar so close to the TC, now these Vils are kind of blocked out from getting in there. So let's just work on a sheep, I guess. I'm gonna go one more to berries, I think. Okay, we should comfortably have enough to click up in a moment. There we go. All right, now remember, as soon as we click up, we're going to shift to wood. I am going to do 2 lumber camps. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 6. Let's do 5 and 5. Keep these people busy on the sheet. We've got our rally point set on the straggler trees now. So the next thing we need is a barracks. Let's get that going. About halfway is fine. 1 Vil will complete that in time. AI has stolen my sheep. What a bastard. I think we can afford a house. Yeah, maybe we can't afford a house. We'll grab a house after. Alright, so as soon as Feudal Age hits, I want this stable to come up. Get out of the way there, Mr. Scout. There we go. I also want bit axe, and I want a horse collar as soon as I can afford it. Because now I'm going to start building farms. I have nothing else to do with my wood other than build farms. And then as soon as the stable comes up, I want to start getting scouts out. Of course, I forgot the house. Classic. Keep the farms going. See, it's a little tight because I went, maybe because I went 2 lumber camps, but it will pay for itself rather quickly. Come on. That's 2, as you can see. Oops, that's because these guys have been idle for a minute. Nice. Alright, there we go. There's my 3rd scout. Not quite perfect. But that's basically the gist of playing scouts, is getting those farms down, getting the scouts out. Once we have our number of scouts, we think about adding a blacksmith. Think about getting housed. Alright, there we go. How'd I do? Not bad. 13 and change. We have 4 scouts on the field. Ideally, we would know where the enemy is so we can go start harassing them. But 4 scouts is nothing to sneeze at in Feudal Age. This can harass vills, etc., etc. But give that a try for yourself. Bring it back up here. The challenge. Pretty math-heavy episode today, but that is important to know for future episodes. And this making some military practice will help you. If you can do this build order, you can win games in Feudal probably with decent scout micro at very low elos. So give it a shot. See if you can get. Oh no, I didn't get the A, did I? That's going to be difficult to do actually, because the food is so tight. So to get the A here, you might have to go 1 lumber camp, which is fine. That was a full minute off. So that was like a B plus, let's say. Anyway, try it for yourself. Go for at least a B, if not an A. And yeah, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.